Hello, guys.
Hi.
How are you guys? Anyway, we're gonna just jump right into it. Get to this prayer. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I just come to you as humble as I know how, Lord God, to just say thank you, Lord God. Everything that you've already done for us, Lord God, and everything that you're about to do, Lord God. I thank you for this platform. I thank you for this movement. I thank you for this podcast, Lord God. I thank you for your healing powers, Lord God. I just come to you asking that you bring forth healing for our families, healing for our friends, healing for the world, Lord God. I'm asking you for your assistance in helping us break these generational curses, Lord God, and helping us bring awareness to your people, Lord God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, so this week's episode is going to be on silence as it relates to generational curses. In reality, when you really think about it, silence doesn't seem like it would be a big thing, but I think personally that it's probably the biggest, simply because when you stay silent about a situation, it tends to repeat itself. And that is something that I've personally witnessed myself as it relates to my family. So really like keeping quiet about the things that plague our community and our families as a whole is something that we have to bring awareness to, and we have to stop it, because the more that we bring awareness, that's more knowledge being spread among our people, whether it relates to our family, our community, the next generation to come, things of that nature. So um, silence is one of the biggest things. And a lot of time people are silent due to fear.
Mm-hmm.
They're silent due to being ashamed, as well as regret for certain things. And we all make mistakes. Um, but the thing is being able to be accountable for your mistakes, being able to
be aware of it.
Exactly, and speak out in reference to it as well is another powerful thing that a lot of us don't really realize, but it really makes a major difference. So I would say not being aware of the things, it can really cause that cycle to continue to repeat generation after generation. I'm gonna give you all an example, such as being molested. A lot of times people are silent because the person who did the molestation may have said, "I kill your family," or "I kill you." If you tell anyone, so that in itself can cause a person to be silent and not speak up against it or speak out about it. And even in that essence, like when you really think about it, that's something that I don't know. I don't know. I just think that when it comes to being fearful to that nature,
you're trying to protect,
right? You're trying to protect your not just your family but yourself. Because that person is right there in front of you, and you may be afraid, but in reality, when you're not in front of that person anymore, you can go get the help that is needed. And I know that sometimes like silence can also cause a person to be ashamed of what happened to them. And when you're ashamed, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to make mention of it. And
the feelings of embarrassment when people talk
Exactly.
about people like me. I mentioned that in our poem, our piece that we did together, because I can firsthand agree with what you're saying, because there was, a lot of times where I was ashamed of what I went through, embarrassed about what I went through, scared to share that piece of me because of how I thought others would view me. In reality, it wasn't my fault about, what occurred to me and what happened to me. But, just me starting to be more bold and be more open and sharing my story and pieces of me through poetry is like literally been a weight lifted off my shoulder. It's really been healing for me. Like I'm like an open book now. I tell people, I've always been an open book, but there still was some things that I wouldn't share. And now when you get to talk to me, you get to know me, it's like, wow, you've been through so much, and you still have a smile on your face. I swear, people are always just amazed about, like, when I'm sharing my story, like, wow, you've been through all of that. You're still so positive and, still upbeat, and you always smiling. It's because I'm not that little girl no more. I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm not fearful anymore. I don't regret, anything that I've been through. Like you said, we went through to Teach a Nation, and I know, everything that I've been through was for a bigger cause. At that moment, I may not have been able to understand, and I may have wanted to be silent about it because I was so afraid. But now it's like, okay, if I don't get this out, it's going to continue to happen. And that's why we're talking about breaking these generational curses.
Exactly. And speaking of that, like when I did finally tell my mom what happened to me, but my reason for not telling her at the time, because she asked, and the reason for me not telling her is because she said she would kill the person. And my father already wasn't in my life. So it was like, as a child, I'm like, okay, my dad already not around. And if I tell her, I believe her, she's gonna kill him. So I won't have my mom either. Yeah. She would be in jail, probably for life. So I went silent because of that. So that's another reason we have to be careful how we respond to our kids, because seriously, that's a lot. That was a big weight.
Yeah.
A big weight as a child. And so for me, I did put it in the back of my mind. I did act as though it didn't happen until something happened with another one of my family members. And she came to me and she was talking about it. And I told her that happened to me as well. So when I told her, she was like so surprised. And I was like, okay, wow.
Same person?
It wasn't the same person, but it was a situation that was very similar. So I was like, oh wow, I need to talk about this, so
because every time somebody else is talking about it, it's like I would be triggered, and I would be, I never spoke up and said, oh, me too. And then it was one time I was at church, and they was asking like everybody that has ever been touched or molested, to come to the front if they want to pray over them. And my friend standing next to me, she went up, and then another friend that was there, she was like, oh my God, I never knew that happened to her. I feel so bad, blase, blase. And I was like, all right, cool. I just can't, I can't sit here no longer in silence and act like something didn't happen to me as well. So I did. That was like the first time I actually acknowledged, being molested in front of other people. And I went up there and I got that prayer and I felt good. And it's like, it's not something that I kept from my family. Like my family knew. It was, of course, if y'all heard the poem, y'all know that I was molested by a family member. And so, family knew, but it was just like something like we talked about, those family secrets that get swept in the rug. They did something about it, but it wasn't like, oh, they got him the correct help. I feel like the way that they did it, I don't know. I'm not going to really speak on how, that person and how they are now, but I don't know. In my opinion, I felt like, taking them to therapy, even taking me to therapy at a young age, so that I can be able to be expressive and not feel ashamed about it is, the correct way we should have went about it. But, you live and you learn. And so now that I'm old enough, I was able to go and get the correct help. I didn't get the correct help until my little brother died though. And that's when I started like just, bringing up every suppressed feeling I've ever had because I just really was ready to heal completely and fully. It's just like, okay, I want to heal from this, but it's like I have so much other stuff like on top of that it just start coming up, and it's like, don't be silent.
Yeah, don't be. And like what I do believe and feel for myself, because my mom actually experienced something similar to the situation, and she speaks up about it, but in a negative way. That's a positive and a negative way to really express a lot of different things, and it's ideal to go more of the positive route. And I have to say that I thank God that my daughters have never experienced it. And I truly believe it's because I spoke up about it. I spoke out against it. And being that I did that, I feel that initiated the change in the stopping of that cycle, because that's something I don't wish upon nobody. And I know it's so many people in this world that has experienced being molested, or even know someone. Like I think everybody knows somebody that has had that experience. And it's really like it takes a toll on you, especially when you're silent about it and you really don't know how to express and you want to say something, but it's like, if I say something, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if this happened? But in reality, you have to speak up and speak out for you. You have to free yourself. And that's what speaking up and speaking out does. It frees you. It allows you to soar, and especially like when it comes to other people, because you can be that voice for them, to be able to initiate those conversations, talk about it, talk it out, and work
and
through
find ways to express that to younger kids. Because I know when it happened to me when I was 5, 6 years old, like at a young age. So I don't know if my mom, because saying it happened with my mother, and I don't know if she really could express to her 5-year-old, how to avoid that situation without, I don't know. It's just like my mom had me at a young age, so we basically kind of grew up together. And so, she was still just figuring things out on her own. So it's just like you gotta figure out ways to be able to talk to your kids in ways that they could be able to understand. I know now my cousin tell her daughter, don't let nobody touch your pocketbook, and don't, you don't let nobody touch your privates, and stuff like that. So figure out ways to let them know that if somebody touched them in these inappropriate places, that that's not okay, and that they should say something.
Yes, and that's what I was about to say. That is the one thing that I did make sure that I did, being a mother and being a person that have experienced that, and I didn't give it like, names.
Right.
I called it with vagina, penis,
Right.
And I explained to them those inappropriate touches, and as well as the conversation, like the things that they say to you, and I didn't allow my kids to spend the night at other people's house. Very seldom did they spend the night at family member houses.
Right.
And in most cases, their friends and family members would come and stay at our house, because like for me, I'm gonna watch. And at the time I was married, and I thank God my ex-husband wasn't that type of person, and being that I knew that he wasn't that type of person, they were in good care. I watched everything, and so yeah, like I also find that a lot of times when you have people that have been molested, and they may have told their mother, and their mother didn't believe them.
Yeah, there's been a lot of cases like that I've heard about as well.
But see, in those cases, that causes that child to shut down altogether. So that cycle repeats. It repeats because they shut down. They spoke up, but nothing was done about it. So they felt like their voice wasn't being heard.
Yep.
So in turn, after they spoke up and nothing was done about it, and let's say it happened to their child, and then when it happens to their child, they don't believe their child because they're madly in love with the guy or whatever, or that family member always there for them, like he would never, or even she would never, and she did, he did, and it's just like that's a cycle that does definitely repeat, So my thing is, you have to know your kids, and even if your child,
don't be so naive and so in love that you feel like that you're gonna believe a guy or a woman over your children, because no, let's not do that. Like I don't
exactly because like okay, so I'm sure there are probably some situations where a child would probably lie just to get rid of that guy or that woman because they're used to their mother or father being there for them.
But if you know your
child. So that's why I say you have to know your children. You have to really know them. Like spend time with them, having those conversations with them, because in reality, everything starts
and really know that
at youth.
Yeah, really know that significant other, because people, they jump into these relationships and they're so easily trusting Exactly. See if they on those sex offenders list. Like you have to really.
That's public record.
Seriously, you have to really, know who you have around your children. Like you don't just think about yourself and think about your needs. Like know who you're having around your kids, especially before you're leaving them with them. Like, oh, I got to go to work, but my boyfriend watching my. I don't know what it is, but I hate stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, my boyfriend's like.
And don't get me wrong. I do understand why some people do it.
But you have to really know these people before you're just. It's like y'all doing it too soon. You have to literally get them back on.
I honestly think it's a lot of the younger generation that does that, and like how they used to say, children raising children. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of that in the past couple of generations. It's been a lot of that. And, when you get a certain age, you feel like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what's going on.
You can't tell me how to raise my baby.
You really don't know, because things repeat. Cycles repeat. And the only time a cycle doesn't repeat is when you put a stop to that cycle. Exactly. And you have to know what it is, So like, and especially if you don't really know that the other individual, you don't know how they were brought up. You don't know what their family was like, their mother and father was like. All these things you have to really take into consideration. So, one of the things that I say all the time, the things that happen to you as a child, you don't want to see those things repeat, right? So sometimes it's good to go back and remember what you felt like, how you felt, so that you be more cognitive to your child. Like, honestly, that is something that I did do. Yeah. That's the reason why I had those conversations with my children. That's a lot of the reason. Like anything I could think of that a perpetrator would use or say to my child, I would say it to them. Like, and I told them, I don't give a flying hoot if it's your daddy. The granddad is deceased, but I don't care who it is. Seriously. I don't care if it's your grandma. Even if it's me, if I come out of character for some crazy ass reason, but I don't care who it is. You tell, speak up. Don't lose your voice. And like honestly, I think that's why my girls run their thing on mouth so much. But like it's in a good way. It's positive. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So we have to definitely speak out and speak against, and don't be ashamed.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed. You're not alone. You're not by yourself. It has happened to so many people that you will have no clue that it actually happened to. And you won't have no clue because they don't talk about it. They don't bring awareness to it, and that is something that we have to start doing. We really have to start doing that because this is something that has to be stopped. It needs to stop.
We can help prevent it from happening to the next person. And so by you sharing that story, you telling what's going on, definitely can help the next person so that they won't have to go through the same thing that you went through. And you, like she said, put yourself in their shoes, like, put yourself in the next person's shoes. Like they don't have to be in your shoes. They don't have to be, touched or molested by someone that they feel that they could trust. If you just open up and speak up about your situation and the things that you went through as a child, or even if you're not a child, like, even as an adult, because people get molested and raped as adults as well. So it's like, and a lot of those victims are so afraid that, like you say, they're afraid that they're going to hurt, their families are going to be hurt, or they're going to be hurt. But if you're speaking up and you're getting that information out to the right people, make a police report, that you will be protected.
Get a restraining order, a lot of different things.
You can for sure be protected and help protect the next victim.
And just keep in mind, awareness brings about knowledge. You wouldn't know unless it's talked about. That's the reason why we have these conversations, and we try to bring awareness to a lot of things that is silent. That's why I say silence is a generational curse, because that's something that we as a community, as Black people, we dwell in silence. Seriously. And we have to stop. Like, we have to speak up, speak out, speak against, and have a voice. Yeah, we really do.
the things you went through and that trauma can start to eat you up, whether you know it or not, or whether you believe it or not. Seriously, and it's like it'll leave you stagnant in life because you're so stuck on what happened to you in the past, and you're not able to release those things and talk about these things that it will literally like have you overthinking things and have you just not wanting to move on with your life and be able to thrive in your life because you're so stuck and stagnant on all your traumas that you've been through. And listen, break the silence. Yeah. Stop the curves, break the curves, like write about it, get that help. Even if you're speaking up to a therapist, you don't necessarily have to go ahead and share your story with the next person. Eventually you'll be comfortable enough to get those things out. But take that first step. Talk to a therapist. Talk to
counselor, someone that you can trust.
Someone you can trust. It could be another family member. It could be a friend. It could be a spouse. Find someone that you can confide in about your situation and just get it out. Like get it out there.
Because in reality, a lot of times the certain things that we experience in life, it can cause us to lack trust. It can cause us to think that everybody is out against us, out to get us, out to do stuff to us and things of that nature. So that's the reason why it's important. I think it's very important to speak out, speak up, talk about it. Talking about it helps you release. It really does. And like Aisha said, to get the therapy that is needed. There are so many different therapists out there for different stuff. And turning to drugs and alcohol is not the solution. It only comes you for that slight moment. And when I say slight moment, I mean slight moment. But like that issue still exists. It doesn't change what happened. You know what I'm saying? So you in order to change how you feel, you have to endure that feeling. You have to talk about it. You have to get it out. Yeah, you got to go through.
So you can't unfortunately go under. There's no other way. You have to go through these things so that you're able to heal from them.
The best way to heal is to feel. You
have to feel it. You have to. That's why I said, like in one of my posts, I used to literally have to smoke a whole 3-5 a day, which is sad to myself. Like I'm abusing all these substances. Well, not all, but weed and alcohol. I didn't drink every day heavy like that, but to smoke a whole 3-5 and still be miserable at the end of the day. And now I'm out of money, wasting money because now I need to buy another one. Now I need to re-up, and now I need to buy the backwoods. I need to buy whatever I was smoking out at the time because it's like I just wanted to feel numb. And that did not help. That did nothing but suppress those feelings more and more, and to just really be able to be living a sober life. Like I used to have to smoke before anything, after anything, before I ate, before I slept, before anything, literally. And now to be able to like live a sober life somewhat, because I will have a drink every now and again.
But I think we all do that.
Yeah, but to be able to live a sober life without, abusing those substances and getting things done and doing the things that I actually set out to do, making goals and crushing them, it's a great feeling. I swear, it's a really, really good feeling. Like, and even people who don't abuse substances, but are depressed and don't know how to admit that they're oppressed or don't know how to acknowledge it. Yeah, seriously, all of these things is mental illness, or they're afraid to just speak up about what they're really going through because they're afraid of being judged. And listen, no, it's okay.
Yeah,
I promise you, when you talk about it and you find somebody that you can confide in, that you feel safe with, listen, because right here, this is a safe zone. We tell y'all all the time, we're open, we're willing. We want you guys to come and talk to us. We want you guys to email us, DM us, right? Whatever it is. You can make an anonymous email. We don't have to disclose nothing. We share our numbers on here, whatever. We give you guys the prevention hotline numbers. Anything we feel like that can help you guys, we're doing it because that's how passionate and serious we are about healing, like not just us, not just our families, but the world. I always say this every day. The whole world needs healing. Like I truly pray to God daily for healing, like to be able to break these generational curses that we talked about this month. That will be the first step, to help us to start this healing process, just becoming more aware, just speaking up about things, not feeling ashamed or regretful about the things that we went through. Nothing that you went through was your fault. Everything you went through was for a reason.
It molds you to who you are.
Seriously. And although you may not understand it
now,
listen, it's gonna be a time where you be like, I get it now, God.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I thank you for the good, the bad, the ugly, because I swear I do. I swear.
And the reality, like if you never experienced nothing, how could you learn?
Exactly.
Life is a lesson.
Exactly.
How could you learn? So is there anything else you want to
do? No, just speak up. Let's break these cycles.
Let's not be silent anymore.
Yeah.
Let's, what they call it, break the silence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's break the silence.
Seriously. Open up more, release these things so that you're able to get that restoration, because it's going to feel so good. I promise.
Yep. And, like the piece that we did together, Breaking Cycles. Mm-hmm. In that piece, we're really talking about us being silent, as children, and now finding our voice, because when you're silent as a child, you're still silent as an adult. That inner childhood trauma is still stuck in you, and when you start to speak up and speak out about it, that's when you are working on releasing it, so you have to endure those feelings in order to heal from it. So that's the reason why we advise like getting therapy, seeing a counselor, or even talking to a good friend, best friend, a family member who you can trust. But make sure it's somebody that you're comfortable with and someone that you can trust, because to initiate the release it can be hard for some people. But I promise you it's worth
hard.
it.
I swear.
It's worth it.
It's
definitely worth it.
Growing pains, period. Once you learn to separate yourself from that default self, your default self that's when the growing pains begin. And they hurt. Growing pains for sure hurt, but it's so worth it.
But it makes you more powerful.
I swear, turn that pain into power.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you. Definitely. So if you're a person that has ever experienced so much pain, when you learn from those painful lessons, just think about it.
I feel like you're able to walk into your purpose.
Exactly. It makes you so much more powerful, It really does.
I swear.
And if you say you love yourself, then you got to love everything you've been through.
Everything.
The good, the bad, the indifferent. You really have to love everything that you've been through. And the only way you can really love that pain is when you have learned from that pain,
and feel it, and instead of trying to hide it,
cover it up,
and try to suppress it, you actually have to feel it, like literally. Like I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of times where I was like just digging up, things that have occurred to me as a child, and I'm just like just reliving those moments of thinking about them again. It was so painful. But to just get it out and release it, I swear to God, I felt so much light and so much better. And I'm ready to fly like an eagle, okay? I'm just ready to go after everything people said I could never have, be that person people thought I would never be able to be. I'm putting all bets on me now, because I have a story to tell. I'm breaking the silence. I'm breaking the curses. I'm ready.
I wanted to say the things that people say to you about you and in relation to you, don't hold on to that, because in reality, they don't really know you. And a lot of times they
projecting their insecurities onto you.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. That's you in my head. That's exactly what they're doing. So you can't, as she said, place the bet on yourself. You can't place the bet on nobody else. Place it on yourself. You are so worth it. Like, you really are. Okay?
As always, with love. We love you guys. We thank you guys for joining in.
Yeah.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, take a friend, share.
Be our friend.
Seriously, come on to the show. Give us some topics to talk about. You can share your story. We don't have to disclose your name. Whatever it is, if you know, come talk to us. We don't bite.
No, we really don't. I don't want to bite nobody anymore.
This girl's so funny. come laugh with us. We really enjoy, being here with you guys every Monday. We really appreciate all the support. And we have so much more in store for you guys. Next month we're gonna make flyers. Next month we want y'all to come out to our open mic and support. We're gonna do our piece bigger and better. Okay.
Shout out to the Academy, the host. Like, yeah. It's truly a vibe. You will really enjoy yourself.
Some really great poets.
Y'all can come check us out.
Seriously,
yeah.
Come support
That's
us.
idea. Apache on 393 Marietta Street. It's also owned by a Black woman.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So come on out, support us, support each other, support the community.
Black excellence.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
So we'll see you guys next week. Next week we will be talking about the the generational curse of poverty, welfare, low subsidized housing, things of that nature. And so don't miss out, okay?
All right. Bye.